Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now the beginning of May of 2023, and not only are we getting closer week by week until the Ahsoka Tano series drops on Disney Plus by this August, for Dave Filoni to really fully unleash his full potential with his writing skills of Star Wars and showcasing exactly the story and vision that he wanted to tell for a very long time. And the fact that Kathleen Kennedy had zero involvement in the Ahsoka show, I think is really going to raise a lot of hopes for the franchise. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the story today. Now, we know that there's a lot of things going on right now between various projects, be it movies or TV shows, and everything related to the revival of Legends and focusing on legacy characters, all these different areas that John and Dave are exploring currently. Now, one of which has a lot to do with specific key characters related to the originals and the prequels and exactly how they are going to be utilized in upcoming lore, and let's discuss. Now, we know that behind closed doors, both John and Dave are very busy storyboarding and in the notes phase for many upcoming shows. Unfortunately, due to the writer's strike, they're really not doing anything with scripts right now or anything related to it in that sense. So that brings one to question which shows are going to be heavily delayed or not. However, one of the big focus points by John and Dave right now is focusing on Legacy and Legends characters to create a drive for hardcore fans to feel more confident for upcoming projects. One of the key plans by Lucasfilm right now is a soft reboot of the Kenobi series that has been in the works but was put on hold for a couple of months that is now going back on. John and Dave are set to take part in this project and will be actually reusing storyboards from the Kenobi trilogy by original writer Stuart Beattie before Joby Harold made the series. Some of these storyboards that will be reused are set to establish that Mace Windu never really died during Order 66 and by the hands of Palpatine. The storyboards for Mace Windu's survival consists of himself entering a medical facility and obtaining a bionic arm by one of the medical droids, followed by other illustration descriptions of Mace Windu fighting a series of clone troopers in the dark streets of Coruscant that have never been fully explored in the franchise. Now, again, for those of you that are unaware, Mace was supposed to come back in the treatments of the Kenobi trilogy. Alright, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there was a Kenobi trilogy planned by Lucasfilm themselves. This was a real thing that they actually confirmed and admitted to, that Stuart Beattie was creating, and Ewan McGregor was fully on board with this. Then it actually got dwindled down to a solo film, and then that got dwindled down to a series. Alright? So in this actual, whole entire phase that, Stuart went through, that Ewan McGregor went through, they were almost certain that this trilogy was going to be a thing, and it fell apart. A lot of storyboards were left on the cutting room floor, and now John and Dave are reusing that material for this soft reboot of the Kenobi series. We talked about this a couple of months ago. We actually touched on this a little bit back in January, and it was put on hold for a while due to various reasons, alright? Now that it's going back in development, they've figured out a very good reason why and how they could really tell tales of some of the characters in the forms of flashbacks and stuff around those lines. But what I like so much about this is that it kind of does explore how Mace Windu survived. We talked about how there were earlier storyboards for the Kenobi trilogy where Mace gets thrown out the window by Palpatine through Force lightning, and he eventually grabs hold of one of the incoming speeders in mid-air, and that eventually leads him to falling into the streets of Coruscant. That was one of the storyboards by Stuart Beattie for the Kenobi trilogy that never came out to be, that was going to feature these revelations about Mace, alright? So the next thing that I think is even all the more unveiling is the fact here that Mace's design in these illustrations that will be used for the Kenobi soft reboot is said to also feature Mace wearing a hood with scars on his face. Now, other storyboards, alright, on top of all of that related to Mace Windu, also of course feature things around the lines of the Jedi Knight anthology show. Now, which is live action, is set to focus on many adventures of not just Luke Skywalker, but of his new generation of Jedi between episodes 6 and episode 7, of course. Now, we know that there's been a very big discussion between Jon and Dave. They want to focus on 2 new Jedi Order eras. Alright, there's one that Luke created and built, and then there's going to be this other one that's being led by Stephen Knight that's going to be built by Rey, to really kind of create a fair balance between the two. So, on top of this, one of the storyboards from this show that's been put together by Jon and Dave is set to explore Luke at the age of 30 in one episode, providing Kyle Katarn an important lesson about a dark Jedi roaming the galaxy, who, by the way, Kyle is a popular Legends character who was a self-taught Jedi, and gained other lessons by Luke. Now, the thing about this is that each episode is set to focus on a different story of Luke and his Jedi Knights and his students, as Jon and Dave believe that Luke's new Jedi Order should be heavily explored just as much as Rey's, that will be for the post-Episode 9 material. Now, again, a lot of fans don't really like the fact that Rey is creating this new Jedi Order. But at the other end of the spectrum, we gotta realize that Luke did build his own new Jedi Order after Episode 6, leading into 7. The only major complaint that fans have is that Luke's new Jedi Order fell apart because of Ben Solo, and Rey is taking up, the overall mantle of creating a new order that most likely will be a huge success. There's no doubt about it. So that's the bigger complaint that I think fans have right now, is the fact that Luke's order failed, and Rey's order is most likely to succeed. But anyways, moving on to the real focus here is that we have Jon and Dave making sure that they're going to point out rich Star Wars material. They want to make sure about that. That what fans are going to get is going to be top-notch content that's taken directly from Legends, that's going to be something that fans have never seen before, and really, at the end of the day, that's all it's about. They want to just please the fans, make the fans happy, and just really deliver the best content possible. So, the other thing about this that I think a lot of fans need to be aware of is the fact that, given that Luke is going to be a main focus in other upcoming Star Wars projects, not just, the Ahsoka series Season 2, which, by the way, they are bringing him back into that equation too, but they want to give him, a bigger focus in other areas. The Dave Filoni movie, this project in particular, that's another thing there. So there's a lot of things going on with this that I think a lot of fans are going to appreciate if and only if everything here is going to be executed well enough. It's all about the execution, right? How things are put together and presented to the audience. And if they can pull that off, they can most certainly recapture a lot of fan interest and how they can really, engage themselves with all this upcoming lore. So, yeah, everything related to this whole Mace Windu stuff reviving and coming back into the soft reboot of the Kenobi series, and how they are focusing on that Luke anthology show. There's a lot of announcements coming our way by this September, so stay tuned. Anyways, guys, I would like to hear your input on everything below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night